Hello everyone, and this is Umber Rays. I am just banging out a whole bunch of videos today because I am very excited for Hearthstone, so I'm going to be making some Hearthstone videos soon. And so I want some Brave Exvius content, and I want to talk a little bit about the Rainbow Rate and the Gacha summons, because as it turns out, with Hearthstone coming into a brand new expansion, I want to talk a little bit about what people want and what I want, and how the two things are different. First of all, in GL recently, the rainbow rate got increased from 1%, well, okay, we don't exactly know the percentages in the global sides. On the global side is a better grammar use. So, with that being said, it was a 3 times increase. Okay, I've kind of got my train of thought back on track. And here on the Japanese side, 3% is starting to feel pretty... what's the word? Bad. Yeah, it's feeling bad, and here's why it's feeling bad, is because with 7 stars and super TMRs, 1 rainbow doesn't feel like a big deal anymore. And rainbows in general... Here's the thing. There are 2 options for the future of FFBE, and I want to weigh one against the other, and one of them is kind of a Hearthstone solution. One option is that we just get a flat rate increase up to about maybe 4 or 5%. I think Alum can get away with that and still be relatively successful, but mainly because the Japanese market is incredibly competitive. And if you want to keep your fan base, well, it takes a little bit more extra work nowadays, and you have to be fairly generous. Now that is definitely option 1, and here is option 2. And option 2 is that instead what we have is what they have in Hearthstone, which is basically a pity timer. Now the way the pity timer works in Hearthstone is you open 1 card pack and you get nothing. Okay, that's fine. The legendary rate is actually pretty damn low in the game, if you look at it. But what happens is, by the time you get to, and Hearthstone people might correct me on this, but I'm pretty sure I'm right, by the time you get to pack 40, if your luck is just that bad, you are guaranteed 1 legendary. And most of the time what happens is that the percentages get higher enough along the way to 40 packs that you get a legendary a lot sooner. And this is actually what I would like to see for Brave Exvius in the future. Now, on one hand, flat rate can mean a lot. A flat rate increase could be good because in general it means that rainbows are more common somewhat. And here's the real problem, is the fact that they can't, with a flat percentage increase, we see what we have now. Yes, there are more rainbows, but the rainbows can still be off target and can be actually skewed more to off banner units. And so while we are getting more rainbows, well, if you look at the way statistics work, and the way that you are still statistically unlikely to pull a rainbow a lot of the time. Just because it is 3 times better doesn't mean you'll necessarily get 3 times the rainbows, just means you have a better chance of getting a rainbow. Out of 100 pulls, 97 of them will still not be rainbows out of a sample size. And of course, this isn't how statistics work, or odds work, really. You can have a probability where someone spends 100 tickets and gets no rainbows. That is a possible outcome with 3%. Whereas if you actually spend, you can have someone who spends only 10 tickets and gets all rainbows. That's what happens. That's the odds of, it can just be one, it can be one or the other, or anything in between. You could get 100 rainbows, in theory, in a row. It's just so incredibly unlikely of happening, you probably have God, that must be like a, I don't even know, a bazillionth, a googolplex of a chance of getting 100 rainbows in a row? I'm not even going to think about the math for that, and neither should you. Your head will explode. Don't do that. We don't want your head to explode. I have few subscribers as it is. But with a pity timer, it basically guarantees more satisfaction to the player than just a general rate increase. Because a rate increase, you can still have someone with 100 tickets that spends 100 tickets and gets nothing. And that feels absolutely terrible, especially in the way that our community is in the Brave Exvius, where you always see posts by someone saying, yes, triple rainbows off a 110 pull. Screw all of you guys. Okay, they don't go quite that far, but still, it does generate a lot of bad feelings when you have some people that can basically hit the rates and others who don't. And here's the nice thing about the pity timer. One, the pity timer can be set to whatever you want, giving small increases till a guaranteed point. I think it would alleviate some of the frustration, especially in spending resources in this game, if you had something that you knew you could be working to, where it's like, yeah, I didn't get one this time, but now there's a better chance for the next one, and the next one. And we could either refine this just to tickets, or to Lapis pulls as well, or all pulls in general, including just dailies, because while dailies are a discount on the general thing, most of the time they don't feel that great on banners, especially when they're units you want, because they're limited time and you only have so many dailies to do before the days are gone and that event is gone and the bonus rate up for that unit is gone. And it's made even worse now by the fact that we have 7-star units where we need two rainbows to drop. And there is another point to this that I would like to argue for, and that is the feeling of seeing a rainbow. If we actually just generally increase the amount of rainbows that are seen, I think they're decreased quite considerably in value to us. There is that wonderful feeling you see when you're like, oh my god, it's a rainbow is dropping, yes, finally! What is it? Is it good? I don't care, it's just so good to see that rainbow crystal. And that feeling is great, especially when they're rare occurrences. I like to think, again, and I'm going to pull this from Hearthstone, is the idea that I do not feel bad when I see a legendary, because you still get that thrill of one ticket, nothing. Okay, it's a little bit better rate. Oh my god, all of a sudden, it's a rainbow. Holy cow, the pity timer is reset. So basically, whenever you hit a rainbow, it resets the timer down to its base percentage, and then you go again till you hit a rainbow, go back down. But it makes it exciting because it makes it still exciting, and it makes it actually kind of nice to know that you are not just stuck at that 5% all the time. And generally, it can be like an exponential thing where, this can work for alum still too, where you can have a pity timer for tickets and Lapis. Excuse me. Kind of like the step up banner. Ooh, that was just bad. But it's a good feeling for the consumer to know, well, maybe I'm not getting it now, but eventually I will hit that rainbow, and the rates are getting better and better and better to the point where 30 tickets, you're at about or maybe if the pity timer was 40 tickets, which, that seems fairly fair. I don't know where I got 40 from. Maybe it's that Hearthstone. But if you're hitting that, when you're hitting 30 tickets, then you're up to about a 30%, and then it just exponentially jumps to 100% at the 40 ticket. I think it feels better for consumers, and I don't know if it's definitely going to be better for Alum's bottom line. But it's the idea of, do you want a few number of people to just be pouring a lot of money into your game, or do you want to make it more tempting for people who just want to spend a bit of money every now and then when something important comes along and you're getting more resources and your actual game is just better value on the surface of not being really difficult to get into and actually a little bit generous and nice. That's one of the things that's worked for Shadowverse, is the fact that Shadowverse has this idea of well, you know, it's more generous in Hearthstone. They give you more resources. They give you all of this. And for some people, like the almighty Nazda on Reddit, who has about 700 tickets, probably more than that. Sorry, Nazda, I haven't been keeping up. You know, that would be amazing for them, but you're also trying to keep your fan base. But that's a discussion for another video. Yeah, we might be talking in the future, in the near future, about how long is the Japanese side of this game going to last. That's a topic for another video, though. So in general, these are two different ideas, and I am very strongly for the pity timer idea, because it always gives you that guaranteed satisfaction at some point that you will hit it. It also removes the need for step-up banners where in the game, and this is something I found recently, it is unbelievably cruddy when we see step-up banner Moogle King, step-up banner Moogle King over 2 months. And then this month is a Moogle King with no step-up banner. So I'm not interested in spending a ton of resources. I'm not interested in pulling. There's no incentive to do it. And it could be that they're saving the banner up, or, you know, a step-up banner for FF15 later this month, or the next CG unit. We'll have to wait and see. But when you have that pity timer, it generally makes all of these banners much more appealing to people, especially if the units are good, or if people just like the units. For me, for instance, if CG Light Veritas was to come out next week, which is a possibility, by the way, I would be hard-pressed to want to pull for and not to pull for if there wasn't a step-up banner where I'm guaranteed at least one. And that's because I've been now conditioned to that kind of great feeling of, yes, I guaranteed one no matter what. As long as I do this, I am guaranteed one. That's what made me go so hard for Renoa and Squall. I knew I was going to get something I wanted out of it. And the pity timer works like that as well. So in general, I think that the pity timer is definitely something that should be considered, and maybe we should be asking for it just a little bit more, both on the global and the Japanese side, instead of just another general rate increase. But take what we can get, or maybe we could actually try for something excellent. Anyway, that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.